at post requests in Nuxt 3. This is something that should be really simple to do, but for some reason I found it quite complicated. But now I know how to do it. It actually is really simple. So this is what we're going to cover. We're going to make a form in Nuxt 3. We're going to make a file in PHP to handle the post request. We'll look at the cause issues, and we'll look at sending a response. Okay, so first thing we'll do, let's have a look at our form in Nuxt. So we've got a very simple form. It's got 3 inputs: name, email, message. These are bound to these values here: name, email, message. When the form is submitted, this function submit form is executed, which is here. And then this is what is within that function. So let's just have a quick look at what this form looks like. It's pretty simple stuff, just a standard form. Okay, we're going to get the console ready because we're going to have some errors to look at, which is always fun. Okay, so that's good. So let's have a look at this. This is quite familiar looking, should be to most of you. It looks like a normal kind of request you'd send with Axios, but you notice we're using this useFetch and async await. So something to note here, you'll see I've written a little comment: no headers needed. In Nuxt 3, you don't need to send any headers. In fact, you shouldn't send them. It might cause some sort of errors. If anyone feels like that needs correcting, feel free to do so in the comments, but that's my understanding, is that you don't send headers. So we've got this URL here, which is going to be pointing at the file for handling the request. So I'll show you this in a second. I've created this and I'm serving this on a MAMP server. And then we've got the method, post, and then the body of the request. So these correspond to these values here. So that should be pretty self-explanatory. You should be hopefully quite used to that. So let's have a look. Let's just submit this and see what happens. And we should get some errors. I haven't actually showed you the PHP file yet, but submit it and we get cause errors. So this is the first thing that we're going to have a look at solving. So this can be solved in our PHP file, which handles the request. So let's have a quick look at that. Okay, so we can see here I've commented out the headers that are actually going to solve that problem, the cause problem. So let's uncomment them out. Won't bother going through them. I mean, if you want to look into them in your own time in more detail, you can, but it's those 3 there that are going to solve out the cause problem. So let's just save that, and then we'll submit that again and see what happens. Okay, and we actually get the response. Okay, so let's have a look at the rest of that file. So we've got file get contents. This is actually where I got stuck for a long time. I didn't realize that I needed to have this file get contents to see the contents of the post request. So that's what basically it will go into that variable there. You can obviously name that whatever you want, and then you want to decode it by using JSON decode. Okay, and now you have access to all of the whatever they're called, the post variables, I guess they're called. So if you want to do this, if you want to access one specific variable, you would do that by doing post. Yeah, oh, thank you. It's done it for me. Okay, so that key there corresponds to the name here. So if you want the email, for example, we can do this. Go email. Don't want to equal to anything. But if we wanted to, for example, just return that, let's just say email. And then we've got that. So save that. And let's submit that again and see what the response is. So we see this response down here. This was the first one we did, and it's just one long string, which we'll sort that out in a second. But look, submit that now, and you can see the email there separate at the end. So that's great and everything, but that is just one long string, so it's not actually that helpful. But what we can do to make it actually accessible for us to manipulate, add this header here. So you want this one if it's development or not development. So we'll save that. And now when we do it, you should see we actually have it as JSON. So now we can access individual the object, individual parts of the object, which is really handy. So that's that. Now I'll just go through a couple of things that can be problematic. So let's just see what happens if we do include a header here. I think it causes an error. Yeah, see, you get this missing boundary message here, and you notice that is just one long string now again, so we can't actually access the object. So that's what happens with that. So you don't need that, so just comment that out. Something else to note is your version of PHP, right? So I'm using 8.2. So I was, before I was using, I don't know if it was that one, but it was an old one. Let me just, an older one. It might have been that, I can't remember. But basically it was working with that header in the old version. It wasn't actually causing an issue. So let's just see. I can't actually remember, it was a while, but yeah, see, that's working, which was really confusing. So then when I went to put it on a live server, and it started tracking that boundary warning out, and I couldn't access any of these objects, which was a bit of a nightmare. And then I did a bit of a Google, and it said check your version of PHP. So when it goes to 8.2 again, then I'm getting confused now. Wait, what's that saying? Okay, yeah, whatever. Let's see what happens now if we submit that. See, now you get that error, but you need to get rid of that. Save that. I know this is a bit all over the place, but you should be getting the point, hopefully. And now it's working again. So let's just check our little to-do list. I think we've gone over most of that, haven't we? Yeah, so that is how you handle, so you submit and handle a post request in Nuxt 3. Now, when you're on a live server, you want to get rid of these because they're for security, but it won't work on local because you're without them. Sorry, it won't work on local without them because you are submitting the form from localhost 3000 to localhost 8888. So it just, Google Chrome doesn't like that. Well, probably most browsers don't like it. So that's where you get the cause error. I think that's pretty much everything. Any questions, just leave them in the comments, but that's how you do that. Okay, cheers.